This is one you came up with.
Oh, no, I didn't intend for that. I just kind of was putting shit in there.
Oh, no, it's now been attached to you. If this one bombs,
It's my fault.
all
Okay.
your fault.
Cool.
My bad. I came up with it.
No, it's fine. What is it? What did I come up with?
So what Emily idea did you come up with, John?
A little bit about multiclassing.
Oh, yeah, I did. I did put that in there. Our thoughts on multiclassing.
Well, what were you thinking?
When
John came up with this idea.
Right, when John came up with this idea that I typed in. Just a little bit about, like, the concerns with multiclassing, what we think on multiclassing, because I have some very strong opinions about multiclassing that may or may not, reflect upon you guys.
So give us the clickbait for the thumbnail.
Multiclassing is trash.
Hot take.
Hot take. I feel like you're just doing multiple things less good. Like, I think that's all multiclassing ends up being. Unless you get super high level, and very few games play up to like level 20. And even so, you're only going to have, a couple levels in each thing. You're not going to be really good at one thing. And I like being fucking fantastic at like two things and being done. If I have a rogue that's also a bard, like that just gets like, you're just kind of half-ass at both, That's
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, and it's just not as fun. Like, I want to be able to, like, really do some cool shit and be, like, trash at other things. I don't want to be mediocre at a lot of things.
So I'm only slightly ashamed to say that when we first started 5e in Saltmarsh, I laid down a house rule, no multiclassing.
Because it was fucking complicated.
Because I was just learning the system, and it was my first real foray into DMing something big.
Right.
And I was scared. We're going to try to keep this as smooth and easy as possible.
Yeah, it was necessary.
I don't particularly like to multiclass as a player. And it's not so much about being really good at one thing or a little bit good at a bunch of things. It's that same thing, the complication factor. I want to know what I can do as a player, not as the character, as the player, know my abilities and know them well, keep them all lined up in nice little straight rows and everything, and this is what I'm going to do. And multiclassing scares me because I feel like I would not do it well when I should be using one thing or the other. Having said that, I have seen examples of really effective multiclassing, taking a level or two in something to get a few things that are going to boost your main class in some areas.
Yeah.
They've alleviated the need for some of that with the like Eldritch Adept, and
some of the feats have really made multiclassing obsolete.
I wouldn't say obsolete.
To me,
there's still,
I'm an absolutist.
If you're making, let's say, Jotaro Kujo, you're going, or something based on something else that you just have a picture in your mind of what this person or character should be. Sometimes it's better to just do a little multiclassing so you can get the different traits. But I mean, really, like for power gaming, you don't really have to anymore because there is so much versatility in the feats.
The feats and then the different subclasses, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you want a fighter that's got a little magic using?
Cool, do it.
Then you can do Eldritch Knight, I think it's called.
Something like that. I think there's another one, too, that gets arcane.
I mean, my monk has Ritual Caster, so I have like 3 spells that I can cast as rituals, and that was exactly what I needed for that character to make sense in my head without having to actually pick up magic user classes.
I do think the biggest perceived penalty for me of multiclassing, not getting what you would have gotten at 20, is very often taken away by the fact that we don't ever make it to 20 anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. But I think as a DM, if you wanted to multiclass in a game, I'd have no problem. Do it. As long as you understand how that shit works.
Yeah.
And you are able to monitor and keep yourself in line. And when I ask you, can you do that? You can rattle it off, explain it to me. Cool. But as a player, I just know I do not have the mental fortitude to survive through that. Like, I would just mess it up. I think as a DM, if a player wants to multiclass, as long as they can be responsible enough to have their shit together and have it done right, go for it. But me, no. I don't think I'll ever have a multiclass character. I just don't see it.
If I was to multiclass, I might take Rogue, which has a bunch of great stuff. That'd be the main class. And then but what is Rogue gets a bunch of things, but you know what Rogue never gets?
Extra attack.
Extra attack.
That's true.
So if I took 2 levels in Monk, then I'd get key points and I could use the martial arts feature. And I think Flurry of Blows comes in at 2nd level. I think it might be 3rd. But even if it doesn't come until 3rd, you get martial arts, which gives you a 2nd attack. And you have the 2 or 3 attacks from Monk paired with sneak attack. That'd be kind of cool. But it would always be just a couple levels in that other thing, just to grab that one feature that I really want to have to highlight my guy.
Sneak attack kind of plateaus pretty quickly for Rogue too. It gets to a point where sneak attack is not doing as much for you as the fighter with his or her 3 or 4 attacks. So why not at that point multiclass if you're not looking forward to what you get at 9th level or whatever? Take 1 or 2 levels.
Yeah. I had thought at one point of if you did a barbarian who took a couple levels in Bard and it just here was my thought
Henry
process.
Rollins.
No, my thought was just a straight up human barbarian. Just a dude with anger issues, and the way he gets through it is sings heavy metal songs to just really drive his temper down, and then but when he really flips off the handle, he flips off the handle. To me, that was
you
really
can play that
funny.
a bunch of different ways, right? It doesn't have to be heavy metal,
but that was in my head.
It could be grunge.
It could.
You know,
it could be a kumbaya kind of dude. He's trying to sing himself down. I don't know, but that in my head was a really cool idea. And
Or
his
it could
axe
be
was an axe. A guitar axe. I just thought it was fucking funny.
Or he could be a Bob Ross type, because wasn't Bob Ross in the military and shit back in the day?
I don't know about that.
I believe he was a decorated military dude than just the calming, happy little accidents painter.
Happy little accidents.
I mean, he literally multiclassed in his life. He started out as a fighter, and
So when this conversation first came up, I tried to think, all right, do we do that? Right, and so I'm thinking, all right, I do the same thing every day. And so I thought about you. I'm like, okay, kind of, but I mean, you got a level in a trade that supports you as you build levels in your current job.
True. Very true.
Right.
Yeah.
But typically, I think it's not so much that we multiclass, that we stop being one class and we do something else.
Yeah.
we're not class-based. We're much more skill-based.
Yeah, you
We're
kind
more
of poked
Cthulhu.
a hole in my whole theology here. But yeah, you're right.
But according to that graphic, I am a druid because my second toe is longer, and then it goes like that.
Oh,
Weird.
I'm just thankful now that I've never really paid attention to John's feet.
They're really weird.
They're kind of weird. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
The nail on my pinky toe grows
Goes straight
straight up
up.
because I normally have it like this
It's gross.
in my shoe from never mind that.
Let's not talk about feet. Wrong kind of stream. That's the Friday night stream.
If
The
you'd
other
like
kind
to
of
see
feet.
my OnlyFans. But it's only feet.
It's only
Only feet. But spell it F-E-A-T. Only feet.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
I like it.
Yeah, I stole that off of something I saw on the internet today.
I thought you were being punny and cute. Now, I think probably there's a lot of groups that multiclassing makes sense and do well in.
But you know what? It's a little like we play D&D, we play D&D, we play D&D. Hey, you guys want to try a different game? Right?
Yeah.
It was weird stepping out and doing a different
Yeah.
game. What we ought to do is have at least a one-shot, maybe a small
Multiclass.
campaign off-stream with the large group, and everybody has to multiclass and just try it out.
Did we ever show you the Puffin Forest video about Absurd?
Absurd.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
They
gonna
were
make
starting a very high level campaign, and he had this great, freaking fantastic idea that he was going to multi-class and take a level in every class. But that's all I'm going to tell you. You have to watch it.
We will send it to you. You can watch it. If you guys haven't watched the video about Absurd, it's
I will
it is
put
absurd.
the card for it in this YouTube video. When I'm talking about it, there will be a thing up in the top where you can click and go watch the Puffin Forest Absurd video. It is
Brilliant.
wonderful. And then he brought him back a couple times.
Yeah.
It was, I think, our oldest daughter, it was what really made her want to play D&D.
It was. It really drove her. And he has a really great YouTube channel. Like, all of his stuff is really kind of cool. So.
It's a little less informational, more funny, but it's still good.
Favorite things. Less education, more funny. Sorry. Just live my life.
But I think we should force ourselves into multiclassing.
I'd do it for you.
Would you?
I would.
I definitely understand why in the beginning of our 5e stuff you were like, no multiclassing, because you had me and Tim at the same table.
It was you I was worried about. I was like, John's going to pull out some weird shit and I will not know how to deal with it.
Now, Tim later on did get to the point where he was doing the math too.
Yeah, he was gaming the system at the end there. Figuring out his shit.
The ship.
Yeah.
That one ship battle that was supposed to be epic, and it was just like we chased them around, peppering them. And
yeah, from the time Tim started playing around 10 or 11, he was Doogie Howser-ish in how quickly he graduated from D&D law school. He became a rules lawyer.
Yeah.
And he was pretty good at it, too. But, I always told you and him what I appreciated about your rules lawyering is that you were even-keeled with it, both sides, right? And so if I said something that was wrong and it was against you, you were as likely to say something as if I said something that was for you.
it's only fair.
Yeah.